welcome to the studio, Tim, after all that. And you got something to say about my shirt yesterday, I believe. Tim and I have a lot of discussions about sartorial elegance, which I know a lot about, and obviously Tim is completely ignorant of. What would you like to say?
Well, normally you have a point when you criticise my attire. I'm a little bit more sort of summary today because I cannot stand this.
No, you aren't. Yeah, I'm going to forgive that.
But you wore a shirt yesterday, which I've seen in video clips.
Pushed back the boundaries, didn't it?
It was like, you know, stripes. It was more like sort of a
football jersey or something.
Yeah, it was. It was, I thought,
like Newcastle.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit like Newcastle. And I thought, how dare Mr. O'Sullivan criticise my fashion and wear something like that? How were you allowed out wearing it? Did not the police stop you or something?
All right, very quickly. We've got more important things to discuss than this. But it was extremely hot. I had to get on the Northern Line and down on the London Underground system, folks. It is currently about 340 degrees. It is so hot down there, you wouldn't believe it. And my only other shirt that was clean and ready to wear was light blue. That would have soaked through. Yeah. So I had to go for the Newcastle strip, which was a little less.
At least you didn't go for the strip.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit out there, that shirt. I've had it for years.
Anyway, to answer the question you just posed, she should be sacked.
She should be, shouldn't she?
You know, there are sort of those listeners who remember Yes Minister. There was always this. The civil service were always subtle about thwarting ministers. You know, they would find ways of kicking things into the long run.
Exactly.
But she's just absolutely up front. I'm not going to do what you say.
That can't be allowed.
And it's a real test case for people didn't vote for her. They voted for reform councillors. And if she doesn't change her policy, this isn't about whether you support a trans
that's what I just said.
Not.
Exactly what I just
said. It's about whether the people we elect have the power to do what they were elected to do.
Absolutely.
And it's not a small matter, this. This is not a small matter. This is how local government officers all over the country, they think they're in charge. And this is about to be a real test of resolve for reform.
And Reform UK need to go to Monica Fogarty and say, if you value your massively overpaid £200,000 a year salary, you better do what you say, what we say, or you're out of a job. The times, as Bob Dylan once said, they are a-changing, Monica, and you better get on board. Let's quickly...
Bob Dylan, not Bob Villain, I hope.
Bob... like a rolling stone. Right, let's talk about the welfare reform bill. It has limped through. The ayes, yes votes 335, no 260, majority of 75. Now, they've got this bill through. Starmer has haplessly turned it into a vote of confidence in him. It's a vote of confidence in his authority. And he's made it his sort of mission number one, his primary mission is to get this through. So he's watered it down and down and down. Now, what they voted through, as far as I can work out, is a bill that will make no savings whatsoever. If it makes any at all, it'll be about £1 billion. Now, the backdrop to this is, ever since Labour came in, Liz Kendall, the Work and Pension Secretary, and Keir Starmer, they knew that they needed to get our welfare expenditure down dramatically. We're talking by maybe 10 billion, maybe 15, 20 billion, because our bill, we are addicted to benefits and welfare. We spend miles too much, and if we carry on like this, the country will go bankrupt. Unless, of course, they tax us to the hilt, which is what they'll do before we go bankrupt.
Because there's a bankrupt in a different way.
So Liz Kendall was persuaded when she finally went to Parliament some months ago to say, OK, all right, it won't be 20 billion, won't be 15, 5 billion, I'll give you 5 billion, please vote for this. The Labour lot sort of basically said yes, then they changed their minds. 130 rebel MPs, maybe more, some of them on cabinet ministers, said we will vote you down, we will not let you do this, because they believe socialists, the Labour Party, should never be cutting welfare. That's not what they're about. Starmer basically had to buckle. He's had to buckle and buckle and buckle, even over the last 24 hours. 24 hours ago, I think it was down to about £2 billion worth of savings. Now I think it's down to virtually nothing. Now, the point is, Tim, is this was important. We needed to make savings. He's got this through. He'll say, look, my authority is intact. But it's not, is it? This is a disastrous humiliation for this guy.
Well, is it Thursday or Friday we celebrate or mark a year since this government was elected? It was elected with one of the biggest majorities in British electoral history. It wasn't elected with enthusiasm, it only got 34% of the vote. But Keir Starmer had a majority, and he should have used that, or could have used that, to address Britain's fundamental problems. And there is no more fundamental problem. You just said, I think your words were, a country addicted to welfare and benefits. We spend now over £300 billion a year on the welfare state. The welfare state is much bigger now than it ever was envisaged to be when Beveridge drew up his blueprint. Beveridge, when he drew up his blueprint for it, it was about welfare and work, as well as fraternity, people looking after each other. And over the time, work has become less important, looking after each other has become less important. It's all been about welfare and benefits. And of that 300 billion cost, Labour, as you said, only could find 5 billion, which will be overtaken during the course of this Parliament. It will grow faster than that, of course.
I think it's way down from 5 billion.
Well, that was at the beginning of the process.
It's
now you're right, it's barely a billion, which is
That's
nothing.
ridiculous.
Which is nothing. And so he has a big majority and has failed to get anything through. I heard on the through WhatsApp of friends in Parliament this afternoon that Keir Starmer told the press about this about
his latest capitulation,
before even Rachel Reid or the Chancellor or Liz Kendall, the Welfare Secretary, knew about it. Oh my God,
I bet they're furious.
They must be furious. And this has been the problem for Keir Starmer, one of the problems. He's run his government like a dictatorship. He doesn't listen to people. He has advisors in Downing Street he listens to, but he doesn't treat the cabinet seriously. He doesn't treat his MPs seriously. It's why so many of them have rebelled, because they don't feel part of this project. This is, Kevin, an incredibly serious moment for the country, because we're not getting the welfare state reformed that we need
that we desperately need.
But it's also a very serious moment for Keir Starmer.
It is, yeah.
What will he do now? Will he pretend nothing's happened? Will he do as you've just suggested, say it was all right, this is a big achievement? That would be a massive mistake.
That's what he'll tell us.
That's what he'll tell us. It's nearly, there's summer recess. He could go away and completely reset his government, which the country needs and he needs. What do you think he'll do? I think he'll muddle on.
He'll just muddle on, and make no mistake, he's managed to stagger, to limp this reform bill through. He's got the votes he needed but as Tim has just eloquently explained, it's absolutely pointless now. It's not doing anything. We needed these savings. In fact, we needed more than 5 billion. Once it was down to 2 billion, it was a joke. Now it's down to less than 1 billion. So this is pointless. But what it means, this situation means, is those 130 rebel MPs, they now know they've got the Prime Minister in their pocket. He now has to do what they say. They know it, he knows it. His authority is shot.
Yeah, completely. And he made a massive concession last week. A massive concession. He basically took out £2 billion of the costs, and he said all the people who are on the existing PIP benefits would be protected. And it still wasn't enough. Why did they make this last-minute concession this evening? It's because they were frightened of losing the vote.
Yeah.
So even though he'd made that massive concession, it wasn't enough. You're completely right. His backbenchers now smell blood.
Yeah.
They know that this man can be pushed around. And I don't know what the solution is, because if they think he can be pushed around, all of the hard decisions that you need taken in government, they won't be taken. Yeah. And the one advantage we had of having a government with a big majority was the Prime Minister should be able to get difficult things done.
Yeah.
But because he hadn't thought things through, this welfare bill wasn't about reform, it was about cuts. And he hadn't got a vision. He hasn't got a vision on immigration, he hasn't got a vision on economy, hasn't got a vision on tax. It's all about last-minute, temporary fixes. This country and this government's in trouble, Kevin.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we have a Prime Minister who does not know what he is doing.
Doesn't know what he's doing, what he stands for. We don't know what he stands for either. And it's extraordinary to be saying of a Prime Minister who has a majority, a working majority of 156, that he is in office but not in power. It's the most extraordinary thing to say of a Prime Minister with that magnitude of majority. It's extraordinary, bizarre.
And I absolutely, look, I back reform. I'm not a Labour supporter. But most of all, both of us, we're patriots. We love this country. We want our country to do well. And to have a Prime Minister so clearly out of his depth, unable to get anything done, this is a bad moment for Britain, bad moment for country.
It really is. And when we come back, we're going to talk about something else that he just cannot seem to get a grip on. It is the migrant crisis, which amid this beautiful weather, this wonderful summer weather, has of course flared, spiralled alarmingly. Massive amounts coming across in the last 2 days. Still no government plan to do anything about it.